Hey, it's Jeremy from jeremy.net. I'm a comic book artist, writer, creator, and I share my creative process here with you online. If you enjoy these live streams, would like to get additional bonus live streams twice a month, you can become a Patreon subscriber for as little as $2 a month. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. If you'd like to get a free digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively, you can sign up for my free newsletter at substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comic books, or if you read digitally on Kindle, you can go to Amazon. I recently changed web hosts, so my amazon.jeremy.net link is currently not working. But if you go to amazon.com and just type in GERIMI, my link will come up. I'm working on getting this redirect link fixed, but in the meantime, there are links in the chat for this video that will forward you directly to my Amazon author page. So you can go there. Of course, there's nothing working smoothly or perfectly right now. I'm living through a season of chaos. I'm in the middle of a move. Things have been hectic and busy with client work. But you know what? I'm glad that I could make some time to get back to the drawing board. And I see James is in the chat. Good to see you as always. He said, I don't know if Facebook is having issues, but I'm here now. Yes, chaos. Chaos. Yeah, things have been busy. Things have been nutty. I haven't had a chance to make any forward progress on the comic book at all. In fact, the only way I've been able to keep my sanity is going to figure drawing workshops over the past, once a week. So I decided tonight we would do some fixing bad figure drawings. Get back to that, because there's always stuff to learn. There's always stuff for me to work on and improve and get better. So we're going to be doing that. Let me go over here and get the camera adjusted. In fact, let me move my board closer so I'm not as far from the mic. I'm still sort of sorting out exactly how I want, I'm always kind of moving things around on my desk, and I'm trying to find a nice setup for when I'm doing the fixing bad figure drawings, where you guys can see what I'm doing, I can see what I'm doing, the camera's in a place where it's not blocking my vision, but yet you guys can still see. And it is an ongoing battle. So anyway, these are some of the drawings from like 2-minute and 5-minute sketches from the beginning of this week's class. And I'm going to go through and make some corrections and adjustments on this side. And actually, the lighting will get a little bit better once I put the drawing board in my lap. And hey, Paul paid in the chat. He says, yeah, it does. It feels like it's been forever. Even a week off feels like forever, away from you guys. And I don't know if it was 2 weeks in a row that I had to skip, but yeah, client work, artwork, getting ready for a move, continuing family stuff that we're dealing with. There's just a lot going on. And, I know that's something that a lot of you guys, all of us, most of the people here are kind of people that aren't like college age. So we all have to deal with the fact of having life responsibilities and juggling all of that with continuing to try and find time to be creative. So this is just part of the ongoing struggle. So let's see. So James says, I was listening to a podcast and the host was saying that artists are hypocrites. I don't know what he meant by that, but he was also saying that art is BS since it's subjective. Well, my initial reaction to that, well, first off, art is subjective, but I would say other than like the hard sciences, most of life is subjective. I mean, when you think about how much energy we put into our economy and maintaining it, and then remember the fact that money is a fictional concept. It's just something we made up because we wouldn't have to keep bartering with pelts, a lot of life is subjective. So, he's not wrong that it's subjective. Well, the way I kind of look at it is if somebody feels that way, I'm like, fine, feel that way. Personally, I don't care if someone thinks that art is BS. I still enjoy it. And someone else who absolutely, let me this way, if someone could categorically, like scientifically with data back up that art is bullshit, I would say, okay, well, it's bullshit that makes me happy. So my reaction to it is I don't care. I don't know if you care. I don't care. Let's see here. Yeah, Paul says the struggle is real. And in working on the fundamentals, yeah, still it never hurts to get to, deals. Never hurts to get good deals. So I guess that has nothing to do with working on the fundamentals. Yeah. Let's see here. All right, let me get my little case of pencils here. Now, the interesting thing about this is I'm not going to be using the tools that I was using during class. I was drawing with a larger General's charcoal stick. Like normally I use a, put that right in there so you can kind of see. Normally I use a General's, either a 2B or 4B charcoal pencil. But in class this week, I was using a General's charcoal stick, which like I have to grab a table to put that stuff down on so I don't drop it because I hate dropping charcoal pencils. They always crack. But anyway, this is significantly thicker than the, they're both made by General's, but the stick is significantly thicker than the pencil that I normally use. And I wanted to do it simply for the idea of trying to draw with, there's something that James Gurney talks about in the videos he used to post on YouTube. But the idea, all right, now I am ready to move this to my lap. I've got all this stuff here. There we go. And hopefully the lighting will get a little bit better. I can kind of adjust that. All right. But the idea that when you're starting a drawing or starting a piece, that you want to work with the largest brush possible in terms of like painting. And I thought the idea for that is to keep you from focusing on small details early on. You know, it's not that the details aren't important, but you want to get the major masses, what the figure is doing, the major gesture and the major forms. You want to get all of that down before starting to worry about details. And I thought, well, let's see what happens if I work with a larger drawing implement and it kind of forces me to work bigger, simpler at the beginning. And I'll tell you that early on, it was actually very, very challenging. In fact, for most of the class, it was challenging. I think I didn't really even settle down and get to where I wanted to be in terms of actual having control, probably until like about the last 45 minutes of the session. It took a little while to get in there. So let's see here. So James says, let's say I wanted to sell art or do commissions. Would I be pricing off of what I feel my work is worth and my competence? Is that how other artists do it? I'm thinking about how other job seekers can negotiate hourly rates. Well, I think that there's two things that come into play. There's what you feel your art is worth, and then there's what people are willing to pay for it. Because, you know, there are some artists who, for whatever reason, they've developed a name or a following. And even if their craftsmanship might not necessarily be the most, you know, technically skilled, if they have a look that people like, or if there's a reason why their work appeals to people, they can charge a premium for that. Honestly, it tends to be looking at, it's called a comp. You find an artist that does something similar, a similar style and similar skill level as you have, and you look at how much they're charging for the type of work that you want to do. Because the type of work you want to do is also plays a very big factor. For instance, doing commissions or selling pen and ink sketches is very different from doing oil painting commissions or watercolor or pastel. And in fact, even within painting, there tends to be sort of I think it's kind of stupid because I feel like the skill you need to paint with oil is kind of the same as the skill you need to paint with acrylic. But oil painting has a premium in selling artwork, like high-end artwork. And you can definitely sell an oil painting for a lot more than you can sell, not a lot more, but noticeably more. There's a difference in terms of like the asking price you can get for oils versus acrylics. A lot of artists choose to work in acrylics regardless, simply because A, they like the material, B, they can work faster, so they can make up what they would lose in terms of the price of oils. And C, you know, the other reason why a lot of people move from oils to acrylics is just because of the solvents and turpentines and the health issues that come with the different materials you have to use with oil painting. And while people are trying to find ways to make those materials they're working on ways to make it less toxic all the time. It's improving. You know, I'm going to move this closer to the drawing board. You guys can see more of what I'm doing. Let me get, as a matter of fact, let's get way close in here. By the way, mind you, this is a pretty small sketch. Like if you look at this, it is definitely like if you look at the palm of my hand, it is smaller than the palm of my hand. This is just something like, for me, this is sort of just starting out a little bit of a warm-up sketch to try and get back into the flow again of the figure, but it's a very, very tiny drawing. And one of the things I actually probably should do before even getting into all of this is go back to stick figures. Now, I'll come back to that in a minute, but I think we're actually on an interesting topic here with the pricing. Let's see here. So Paul says, every time I follow those instructions from Gurney, I'm successful. The problem is I rarely follow those instructions. Oh, well, see, all right, Paul, that's an interesting idea. What would be some interesting homework? Because I mean, the fact of the matter is that if you own Imaginative Realism and you own Color and Light, he's shown you all of the major versions. Like when he has his videos and his DVDs, and he has little details, he covers all of that in his book. It's just him sharing it in bite-sized formats for people that maybe learn more through watching videos. They learn better visually that way as opposed to book learning. But what I would do is I would pick 3 Gurney tips. You could even just like go to his blog and type in drawing tips or whatever. Pick 3 tips and say, I'm going to follow these instructions. And put them on Post-its, put them in your studio next to your drawing area and say, all right, these 3 things I'm going to do. You're going to you start with 1 and say, I'm going to do this 1 tip that he recommends every time. And then once you can make it a habit, then add a second and then a third. So there you go. Make the challenge is to actually follow those instructions he gives. And hey, Dylan, welcome back. Good to see you. How you doing, Dylan? Saying hi to everybody. I see Herman in the chat. By the way, I have the voice channel on Discord open. Although the stuff that we were working on in terms of getting the audio better the last time that I was live streaming, I completely forgot where I was with those settings. So I went back to just my basic settings. So if any of the Patreon or paid Substack subscribers hop into the Discord, the audio, I still can't get it boosted up as loud as my audio. So that issue's still there. I have not figured out how to fix it beyond buying like an expensive ass mixing board. But it's there. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I put the Discord, not the Discord. I put the Patreon link in the top of the chat for this stream for patreon.com/Jeremy. I'm bringing it up now because we're going to go for an hour. I'm going to take a 30-minute break. And then right after that, we're going to go into the Patreon live stream because that seemed to work really well the last time I did it. So for anybody who wants to, after this live stream, get into the Patreon live stream, head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy, and we'll be doing that right after this session. So I'll mention that again as a reminder at the end of the stream. All right, back to comments. All right. Let's see here. Herman was asking how Dylan's doing. Oh yeah, Paul says in terms of like trying out the Gurney wisdom. He says, okay, this week, and I'll report back. I look forward to hearing it. Let's see here. Dylan says, I'm okay. A little tired since I woke up early. Plus my arms are hurting a little bit. Had to clean. Had some cleaners come out yesterday, and I helped them clean. Okay, so you're staying busy. That'll work. Oh, hey, Mr. Lujan. Jim Lujan, fine gentleman. Hope you're doing well today. Hello, Jim. And by the way, the latest episode of the Unicordians dropped. Head over to jimluhan.com and check that out. Wait, hang on. Head over to jimluhan.com. Check that out. Wait, I've got a banner for Jim from his lovely appearances on gracing us with his presence on our live stream. Head over to jimluhan.com. Watch the latest episode of his wonderful scathing satire on religious cults, or mega church religious cults, the Unicordians. Anyway, go check that out. It is hilarious. It is all of the wonderful magic that Jim brings to the world. So I highly recommend it. All right. Okay, yeah. Let me continue drawing. But in terms of what James was mentioning or asking, James, this is what I recommend. Look for art. Go online and just like even right now while the stream is on, open another window and do a search for artists that are doing the types of commissions that you want to do, or search for artists that are selling artwork. Like if you want to do compo character commissions, search for compo character commissions. If you want to do like pen and ink or drawing or whatever type of material you want to work in, and whatever subject matter. If you want to do fantasy commissions, sci-fi commissions, D&D characters, if you want to do, like a lot of people do illustrations of people's original Dungeons and Dragons characters. Whatever it is you want to do, search for artists that are doing it. Then get probably 4 or 5 artists that you feel draw work that is similar to the style that you work in. Bookmark those artists, because once you bookmark them, you can come back to them and reference, see how they promote their work, how they do it. I mean, hell, if they have newsletters, sign up for those artists' newsletters. Point being is that you're using them as a comp, using them as a reference to get an idea of what you want to do promotion-wise, pricing-wise. In terms of how much to charge, look at all of them because they're all going to have different pricing. And you're going to see a high end and a low end. You're probably going to want to aim somewhere in the middle. And then you just start putting your artwork online with a link to wherever people can purchase your commissions, whether it's your website, whether you've got a PayPal link, whether you're going to sell commissions on Etsy, however you're going to do it, put those up there. Now, mind you, your pricing, you don't want to be on the high end because if you end up having to drop prices, you don't want people that paid the highest end to be mad that now you're selling stuff really cheap. So you could say put your pricing in sort of like the middle to low tier, because you can always, in fact, not only can you, but you should raise prices over time. You should gradually like give yourself a raise every year, bump up your prices, maybe 5 or 10%. Just keep slowly increasing as you continue to sell work and you have more clients and repeat clients. And the other thing is you can have sales on your commissions. So you can actually literally say, I'm going to plan out 4 holidays a year, maybe Thanksgiving for Christmas holidays, maybe like at around the New Year's for Valentine's Day holidays. Whatever it is, pick 4 times a year that you're going to have a sale, and then decide like, all right, if I'm not getting enough clients, I really want to juice this up. How much do I want to run a commission sale for? And what you do is you have like a limited number of slots for that. You open up a commission list that maybe it's only like 5 commissions max that you're going to do at this sale price, because otherwise you're going to get, if it's nice to get flooded with commissions and work, but if you get flooded with a bunch of commissions and you're making less money than you want and you're drowning in them and you don't have time to finish them all, that's going to suck. So what you want to do is you just cap it at like maybe 5 commissions, put that out there, and then you can still sell work at a lower price without devaluing the people who paid full price for commissions. It's a sale. No one gets mad at a sale. As long as your stuff isn't on sale 24/7. If you have a piece on sale, you email people that have bought previous commissions and say, just so you know, I'm having a sale. Offer it to your existing customers. That's what you want to do. Now, mind you, I don't do commissions very often. So I'm talking from what I have seen other artists do. You're definitely going to want to also find artists online who do commissions regularly and talk about their business strategies and their sales strategies. Because it's one thing to hear me telling you what I've seen work versus somebody who is currently doing it. And in the words of LL Cool J, they're doing it and doing it and doing it well. So that is my advice on selling your artwork. Oh, and Paul did mention on Jim Lujan's Unicornians, he said, and your voice talents, Jeremy. Well, I am just one humble contributor to the beautiful tapestry of the Lujan verse. I mean, I love the all of the voices, like hearing Scott personally. Oh, you know what, Jim? I think I commented on Substack, but that thing that you had for Josh Kimball's promoting his work, where you had that character that Scott was doing the voice for. I'm like, that dude's a badass. Like, you should do a whole series of that spy that Scott did the voice for. Like, I think you found your Sterling Archer. Let's see here. Okay, so James says that makes sense. And he said, I was watching an episode of Degrassi where Jimmy makes t-shirts to sell. He said, maybe I'll do that. But his buddy prices them too high, so he ends up adjusting the prices. Yeah, well, there you go. It is honestly, the problem with the art business is that it has the word business in it, because most of us just want to create. But if you are going to sell artwork, you have to go into it with the mindset of, all right, well, now I need to learn how to set up a small business, because it's going to be a business. You want it to be profitable. You have to learn all of the stuff. Like, I honestly feel like artists would be much better served if all high schools had an entrepreneur program, as opposed to like home ec. Just teach kids how to start and run businesses, period. And then just let kids go out in the world and, try and fail, work for other people, work for themselves, start multiple like, if you like started a new business every 5 years and then just kept doing that, trying to succeed and fail, then you'd probably end up hitting eventually by the time you're 30 and coming up with something that actually was a sustainable business. So I think I hear the voice channel. Hey, Herman. Oh, wait. I think.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, there we go. I was about to check and see if I messed up the audio settings again.
Yeah, what's good, man?
Oh, you know what? It's. I was saying
Go ahead.
I was just saying at the top of the stream that I'm going through a season of chaos, but you know what? Art sustains me, so I'm thriving. I'm trying to do what I can to keep sanity, showing up, hanging out with you guys, that helps keep me going. So
yeah, I appreciate it.
let me see. Let me hit up. There's a couple more comments here real quick. Let me see. Paul said, oh yeah, Paul. Well, there you go. Paul agrees with you. He said, if you like some art in an hour and you only charge, if you make some art in an hour, you only charge for an hour, even though you've got a lifetime of practice, that has allowed you the skill to create it in an hour. So yeah, that idea, like, I remember there's
I was about to say,
no, go ahead.
I had like a situation when I first finished school. It was whack. It was like, I finished school. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do my art thing and stuff like that. I was happy about, finishing art school and stuff like that. And I was working, I'm in Baltimore. So like I was place out Towson, Towson, Maryland. And the woman, I was going around showing like my portfolio and stuff like that, showing making my artwork. So she was, oh, that looks nice. Like she wanted to, it's weird. I just found like that old portfolio that I had that showed like the work that I did, like when I was cleaning out my room. But like she wanted like some kind of mural like on her wall, whatever. And so I did like a couple little designs, whatever. And I mean, I'm not even gonna throw that in there. But she, when I showed it to her, she was all like, yeah, it was great, it was good, and all that stuff like that. And then until when I started talking about the prices, so I did all this work and she didn't pay for nothing. Like she didn't, like she was like, oh well, that's too much. I'm like, so yeah, I don't know. Like I'm like, I just, when it comes to it's crazy because when people are like, people are when they're consumers, and I hear you don't want to like upsell your stuff too much, like it's because when you first starting out. But I'm like, I wasn't like I was trying to do that, and she got over. Like I did all that work. I was like trying to get all these like those thumbnails and all that stuff. So I had all that stuff finished, and and then I did actual like color comps like in Photoshop and put the then I actually I was using my Photoshop skills. I took the artwork that I did and I actually took pictures of a wall and I actually put the pictures like the image that I drew on the wall so it looked like it was really on the wall, like y'all like everything, and like nothing. Like she was like, oh, that's too much. Like I can't. I was like, this. How much does she think a mural costs? Right. I said, but see, that's the thing. My thing is like I was like, people. But see, at the same time, they say that to artists all the time. They try to get over on artists all the time. That's why I'm like, I haven't really like sold the art really like at that point. I just never even tried to even like do it anymore because of that experience. I was like, yo, that was whack. I'm like, yo, but I finished all this work and nothing. So I'm like, yeah, but people all the time they go out, they buy Nikes, they buy whatever, they Gucci, or they buy all this weird stuff, stuff that you don't have to force people to buy. They just go ahead and buy it. Luxury items. They buy it. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's crazy. But so when I'm like I'm doing something, I'm spending like hours on hours, like to get this work done, and then you tell me because I don't know, it's like you just have like a lack of respect for the work. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, yo, I'm spending like sometimes 10, 15 hours or something on, especially if you got to come up with a concept or something like that, and it's like it's just. Like it's overlooked. You know what? Let James Cameron make Avatar. It made $1 billion. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Well, okay. I gotta jump in here now because this is something important. This is important for, huh? So I was like, you get my point. Oh, definitely. Yeah, people they value it, but they don't want to pay for the value. Right. But this is something important. It's important for James. It's important for anybody that's considering doing commissions or just doing art business because no one ever taught me the concept of the kill fee. Okay. What is that? Okay. See, here we go. Now, okay. I gotta put my pencil down because that's how hot I am about this. I'm excited. I didn't learn about a kill fee until I had been working in graphic design for like a decade. So a kill fee is simply a payment for work done if the client decides for whatever reason
they do not want to go forward. If they want to terminate the project. So the thing is, artists in general, we aren't taught how to write contracts for artwork.
Oh,
but
we had that in college, though. We had a course on that.
Mm-hmm. well, they probably they must not have given you all the deets, because they should have told you about kill fees. Okay, so this is the way it usually works. Usually, a kill fee is half of the total price of the project. So the way that project is usually broken up is you look at how much you would charge for an entire commission. Let's say that it's $1,000 commission. What you do is you tell them, okay, it's $1,000. I'm going to break this up into thirds, and even let's even give them a little bit off. Let's say $250. You tell them, okay. You tell them, all right, you know that all that work that you did for like just concepting stuff out, you tell them this, me doing, before you begin anything, you tell them me doing sketches and color comps and comping it out on your wall, that's $250. And you tell them, you don't have to go with mine. Like if you don't like the sketch, you have to pay for it. But if you don't like the idea and you say, all right, no harm, no foul, then fine. You got paid $250 to do some sketches, some color comps. Okay. Then you tell them revisions. So they go through and they come in, they say, all right, I like this. I don't like that. Can you change this? This want green instead of blue, move these figures around here. And now here's the thing. You have to put a cap on how many revisions you give them, because some people will just revision you to death. So you maybe give them 2 rounds of revisions off of the color comps. You give them, and what that means is you're going to give them basically an illustration that has all the details that the final work will have. But even if it's a mural, it's not on the wall, but you're going to finish like the entire design.
How about
So
$100 extra for revision, and then like anything else after that, then maybe like
here
$20, $25 or something like that extra. You get what I'm saying?
Well, the point you gotta look at this like you don't want to get played for boo boo,
right? Because
you got played for boo boo, and now you're saying, hey, can I get played a little bit? And I'm telling you, you can, but you're playing yourself. So I'm trying to. I understand what you're saying. Like you don't want to price, because I don't think any artist should price themselves when you're just starting to begin a particular arena, whether it's doing murals, doing just regular illustration commissions. You want to keep yourself competitive. You want to get people. You want to make it affordable for people who maybe don't have a ton of money, but you still need to look at the bottom line of how much you reasonably expect to make from this project, and how much you want to get compensated for each stage. And what you do is, like, before I even begin the sketches, you send them a contract telling them this is how much this stage costs, this is how much this stage costs, this is how much this stage costs. So really, if they did the sketches and then they just said, you know what, I don't, it's not working for me. I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I want to go away. Then that money you got paid there, that right there would be your kill fee. Generally speaking, the next stage is doing all of the work up to the final execution of the project. And if they decide so then let's say it's another $250. So now you're at 500 out of the 1,000. So you've done all the prep work. You've done everything except for actually painting the mural. And if they do all of that work, and you've done half of the job. And if it doesn't matter why they don't want it, but for whatever reason they decide, no, then you say, all right, well, you owe me $500. Here's the work I did. I expect my expect my payment in, payable in 30 days or 60 days. I'll give you net 60, give you terms. You can make a partial payment. You can pay me half now and then pay me another half in a couple months. Whatever it is, if you need to work it out, you work it out. But you let them know. And what I'm saying about all of this is spelled out in a contract. All the contract is telling you what you're going to build them for and how much you're going to build them for and when you expect to get paid for it. And they have to understand that if they use any of those services, they have to pay for those services, even if they don't pay for the entire project. So then at that point, because here's the thing, once you've done all of that, if they, a kill fee, that's reasonable. You did a lot of work. You get paid for half of that, and then they just walk away. And in fact, usually with the kill fee, my understanding of kill fees is that you have the right to put that work in your portfolio. They have the right to take those designs and go to, they own the designs because they commissioned the work. They can take that work and go to another artist and say, here's something someone else did for me. I want you to finish it. You know what? It might feel shitty, but they paid for the work. They own the concept. You got paid for your work and you still get to use it in your portfolio. So it's like, in a way you got paid to make portfolio pieces. Still not a bad deal. But
I don't see anything bad about that. I'm like, it's all good. Like, as long as I got paid for doing what I was doing my part. You know what I'm saying? So they can go on and do. I mean, some people have egos about stuff like that. But man, I'm like, if I was to do work, whatever like that, and yeah, I'd be just fine. Like, as long as you pay your $500 something for the work that I did, go ahead and do whatever. You want to do with those pieces, whatever. Handle business.
Exactly. And then, like, if you do the whole project at that point, you're like, well, we've done the work. Now you just owe me. And if you're not going to pay, then I'll see you in small claims court. But generally speaking, the way that it's been explained to me is that a contract is not about not trusting somebody. A contract is simply about clearly stating each other's obligations to each other. And if someone refuses to sign a contract to do business, that's a red flag. A lot of people are afraid that trying to present a potential client with a contract is going to scare them off. If presenting a client with a contract scares them off, you should not be working with that client. When you hire like a plumber, the plumber comes over and gives you an estimate, and then you sign that estimate before they begin the work. That's a contract.
Right.
You don't just come in and they're like, well, I'll just start working. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know how much it is. No. When you go and get your car worked on at the auto shop, same thing. All these other businesses, you get an estimate, they tell you what they expect to do and what they expect to get paid for it. And then they just have you agree to that. That's all it is signing saying I'm agreeing to that. And this comes back to the whole thing of artists not wanting to treat a business like a business. I didn't get into art to be a businessman, but once you start making art professionally, these are the things you got to do.
Yeah, I hear you. Like this, yeah, that was just rough. Like, and yeah, that was like that was a boo on my part. I guess from just trying to get out there and do it, and then you have people that's trying to like get over on you and stuff like that. Yeah. So,
but don't forget, I ain't trying to shade you. I told you I was working in graphic design for a decade before I found out about this.
Right.
So, I mean, same here. Like the education for creatives, I think because the world does not okay, at the start of the stream, James had brought up like some guy on a podcast was talking about how art was bullshit and it was completely subjective. We didn't go into details about what podcast and what the context was, but he just asked what my opinion was. And my opinion is, I don't care if someone thinks art is bullshit. If someone comes to me and says, hey, I think art is bullshit, I'm like, all right. I'm like, that's probably not somebody that that's going to be in my life. So I'm not worried about their opinion. I'm like, you're free to think that. Go ahead, please have that opinion. Live your life. God bless. Go. I don't care. But the point is that the world, I think, does not take creativity and creative professionals seriously. And because of that, the education for creative professionals is not taken seriously. I mean, you see a lot of stuff like schoolism now. And, that 3-point perspective, the SVS Learn school that they have, I think they have a whole class that's just on the business of being a professional. And there's a lot of other like online schools now that are doing that where they're saying, hey, these are all the business things that artists need to know. But, so many other people are trained in how to be a professional in whatever business they're going into. But with artists, we're neglected in that way. And we kind of have to we kind of got to make our own. It kind of sucks. But
because like people don't really they really don't care. I think it would kind of help with maybe with some of that. Like I don't know, maybe I was thinking like maybe they could make like a channel or like an app channel or something like a Disney Plus, but nothing like. But if it's like a Disney Plus, but like it just has nothing but nothing but like how like the makings of everything. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to watch the makings of Superman, it's on there. If I want to watch the makings of Star Wars, like so if people would get used to like seeing like how much work it takes for people to get together to combine to create, this type of like, stuff that when it's weird when you having a one-on-one with them and like and then about doing some artwork whatever they like, man, I'm not paying all that money for that whatever, but I'm like, yo, just to see the type of stuff that these artists are doing, like, and then so they can see that like, okay, he's an artist or she's an artist too, that, get what I'm saying, like just something just to help like influence and help people to see more about art, because like you said, people they don't take it seriously. They just be like, man, then when you start talking about money, but then I guess when they get to to the point where they get, you see it a lot, like, oh wow, like how they made the Titanic, how they made, Jaws, how they made like it just the channel just dedicated to like nothing but how they created those like movies and stuff, like especially special effect movies and even movies that are like old classic movies, because a lot of times those special effects back in those days were like dope, like for those guys to come up with those like especially like Wizard of Oz, like that movie, like for it to be so old, like it's still amazing to see like in color, and it's just an amazing like feat, like how like I mean it's not like of course technology further up, like looking at something like the makers of like Terminator 2 or something like that, but still like it's just to have a channel just dedicated to like all that stuff, and then show like these are artists, these are people that have created, like down to the key grip, what I'm saying, down to like everybody, like what I'm saying, like to show that these people deserve the pay that they get, for what they're doing. Because it's different. You got people just like, man, like you got people, like I said, people go online all the time, like, man, that his artwork is trash, or that video game is horrible. Like it looks, I'm like, yo, it takes people time of their life to make to deal with these and get these deadlines and all this stuff done. Like it's just, I don't know, people just don't have respect for that.
Disney,
they just don't know. They just don't know.
Disney Plus has started putting out those series for like their animated films now, where they have the animators, the storyboard artists, riggers, lighting and composition. Like they're getting those people on the camera and having people talk about how they design the character. They're showing the process, the design process for animation. So
I love that stuff. I've always loved that stuff. Like Sam Winston was my man, yo. Like I got the book that he has, like when shortly after when he passed from when he did Iron Man. Like I love this. So Sam Winston did like the special effects and stuff for the Wiz. And I was like, how you? I'm just like, and the Wiz, like when you watch the Wiz, like it's a black version of like Oz. Yeah, but it's like, but the thing that was so dope, what I like about the Wiz is like how they integrated like images of like of the hood, like like being in the neighborhood and stuff like that, mixed in with like fancy like imagination, like a Wizard of Oz. It was just dope, and for him to go from that style to like the indie style, like he could do anything. He was like kind of like James Cameron's right hand man. I'm just like, it was just it's amazing. Like I love that stuff, man. I'm like and I just wish people were more. I mean, like people like before I said many times, people they don't care about their stuff. They just want the product. They just want it done. I just want Superman, regardless of like the hours it took like these people to put Superman in a harness and to digitally add his cape to his back, and when he doesn't have it, stuntmen, taking the actor's face and putting that actor's face on the stuntman's body, like keying out backgrounds and putting dots on people's faces to make their face do motion capture and all kinds of like, it's like people don't know that they just I mean, I guess the whole point of them when they go into these movies and stuff is to like they want this stuff is supposed to seem real to them, like it's supposed to be flawless, that you shouldn't see anything, and like and these movies are doing that. I'm like, people, I mean, but they go pay to go to the movies. Like, I don't know, it depends on, I guess, where they just treat people different,
You know what? There's a couple of comments in the chat I just want to throw out.
Okay.
Let's see here, because Dylan had mentioned within the past week and a half, I tried some graphic design. He says, my first project was making a poster based on one of my favorite songs, my favorite bands in this moment. He said, I made said I made about five versions. And he says the second project was an energy drink geared toward artists. And said but it's 90s Y2K music artists. He said I made 4 different versions. And you know what, Dylan, I'll tell you, that's how you get a portfolio. Like people always say, well, it's like, what do I do to get work when I don't have work? It's like you make products like that. And here's another thing that people don't necessarily tell you is there's a word I love in portfolios, case study. What case study means is that you did work, you made work for yourself to sort of like basically to learn. And sometimes a case study is something where you actually are paid by a client, but it doesn't go forward. But you can do like you can design a Coca-Cola billboard ad campaign and call it a case study. As long as you say that you were not paid by Coca-Cola to do this, as long as that's what a case study, lines out, and just say that it was done for learning development, just to experiment with different ideas. You can do things based on major brands and just say, no, this is not work for this, and these IP or this stuff is owned by this client, but it's something that I'm doing just as a study. As long as you're not selling Coca-Cola, you just say, hey, this is just something I'm doing on my own. So doing stuff like you're doing, that's how you build a portfolio. In the beginning, before you got clients, you got to show people you can do the thing that they want to do. Right. And also that whole conversation we had earlier about the kill fee, James says, I should have known about a kill fee. I ended up doing work for someone that I would have been paid for had the project been financially successful. They said, I was also involved with a project that got leaked, so it got canceled. And like that really sucks. That's, pain in the ass. It's a bummer, man. Let's see here.
Believe me, I know. I'm like, learned the hard way.
Oh, yeah. Dylan says, I found a graphic designer on IG, and it's real. He talked about adding a section to your contract that is essentially saying that you can reuse anything you made that they did not approve or use. Right. And that's true. There's things, if you design something and it does not go into a project, then you can, as long as it doesn't have the branding of those people, right, you can reuse elements. People reuse elements from different design projects all the time. So, real quick, I wanted to just mention just to everyone watching the stream, what I'm doing here is I'm taking these really quick, because these were like 2-minute pose drawings that I did in class. And what I'm trying to do is focusing on the gesture. I got to move this board over so there's more light on here. What I'm trying to do is focus on drawing the gesture as a stick figure, because I feel like the stick figure, it's just a few lines, and this is the way that you can fix a lot of drawings before you even get into the real detail, even before you're really getting into volume or lighting, is just sitting here and saying, does this stick figure feel like how I want the drawing to feel? So I'm taking a lot of these, I'm just sort of drawing these just simple, tiny sketches, just to kind of, break things up and work on the essential feeling of the drawing before getting in here and doing what I usually do, which is just go in and say, all right, here's a bad drawing. Let me try to find all of the ways in which I can revise and understand the mistakes I made. So that's why all of these are a bunch of tiny little drawings. And this is something that I try to do after every session of figure drawing class. I will try to go through all of the drawings I did that entire night and just do a quick stick figure drawing of that. So that is why there's all these, because these are tiny drawings. If you look at the size of my hand, these are very, very small drawings. But I'm just going through, and because gesture is the thing that I'm always... my figure drawing instructor, Carl Ganas, told me this years ago, but he said that if you don't get the story down, you don't get anything. And the story is gesture but with the motivation, like what is the gesture expressing? What is the movement they're doing? What's the narrative behind it? And he's right, because there's times where I'll have drawings where I'll sit there and I'll labor over the lighting, I'll labor over the anatomy, and I'll put all these details in there, but the drawing still feels kind of dead and flat because I didn't get this little stick figure, this little part at the beginning. It's not much, but that's all it takes to, like, if you can look at that and feel what the person's body is, their posture, maybe their mood. I've realized that there's a couple of little things I can do here, like maybe moving her neck a little bit forward. Like I'm comparing this to the original drawing, which is on the other page there. And I'm looking at it saying, well, she was a little bit more like that. Like I'm just trying to look at the nuances of the body, like how her shoulders are hunched, the way that the head is turned, places where weight is resting, those kind of things, and try to get those things into a stick figure. Because once you do that, like the whole thing is, it's off to the races. So, have you had time to do any artwork at all the past couple of weeks, Herman?
No, actually, I wasn't really feeling well because it was so hot. Like it was really, I just wasn't feeling well. Like not only me, but like my mother, so like I was worried about stuff like that, So I'm like, no, I wasn't going to. Like I just started, like since the heat had broken, like I had really bad sinus. I was jacked up. Not only me, but it was just like also a lot of people at work kind of like not feeling well because of the heat. It was crazy. Thinking that it was like a bug or something going on, but like no, people were just reacting to like it was like I need something more. But I haven't sketched any the last 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, there's only so many hours in the day. You're not always going to be able to spend all of it. I mean, like literally, the class, the figure drawing class where these came from, it's once a week for 3 hours, and literally for the past month, that has been kind of the only personal artwork I've been able to do, and that is kind of rough for me because I really do need the time both for sort of mental health,
right,
and also just to make progress, to move forward in the artwork that I'm trying to do. So
I feel you. Believe me, like it's just I'm just like not feeling it.
Well, I mean, I definitely I can recognize how just being in a hot ass sweaty place can ruin any desire.
Right. And then the top of it was like my TV went up, like my 3D television went up. Like so I had to spend It's like I'm spending money that I shouldn't even have. So I got that, and then now it's like as soon as I got that, now my air condition, which is a portable joint, is getting ready to go. I swear, as soon as I got the television, I was about my egg is going making that little noise, like it just stopped going back and forth. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to spend another $300 or $400 something. Like I'm paying, like I said, tuition. I'm paying like almost like $700 something a month in tuition. So like I'm just like trying to pick and choose, and I'm hot. So it's like it's just a lot going on,
Dude, I feel you. It
whack.
Life has been relentless lately, and I want life to just chill. I want life to chill. I'm like, hey,
my man Michael Jamal passed away. I'm just like, oh my, I was like, I didn't know how much it affected me until I don't know, man. It was just like because the dude, he's like close to my age, and I remember growing up watching the guy, like and it was just so weird when they said that I mean they saying other things that happened, people speculated something else, but just the simple fact that was gone, I'm like wow, like you he was a young dude.
Yeah, it was real tragic. It was way too young to go, and it's like they said that there were signs out that it was supposed to be a dangerous riptide, but then a lot of people will ignore the signs and go out anyway, and it's just like
that's hearsay. I don't believe it. I don't. It's just weird because the stuff that he was like kind of like. I mean, he was a good guy, but at the same time, he was a guy about truth and stuff like that. A lot of times, often a lot of people that talk about truth, they don't tend to like last long. Like, people don't like when people tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, wow, like dude was like, I mean, it's weird when you grow up, you watching television, and and dudes like, the guys aren't like the same age you were, like when y'all were like when he was like 14 or something like that. I was probably like 12, 13 or something like that. Like it was just crazy, and just I don't know. Yeah, I think that really took me out for like a week or two. Like this that. I'm like, dude's not even my brother, but it
feels like family because we grew up with what they did on the show.
Kind of like same how I felt when Mike passed. Like a couple like celebrity that had passed. Like you kind of grew up like listening to like you start getting up in age, and it's like people dropping like flies, dude. Like it's crazy. Hulk Hogan passed.
Yeah.
Who else? It was
Ozzy. Like Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know if you can. I like heavy metal, so for me, Ozzy Osbourne. I like, even aside from the reality show, I was into his music.
Yeah, it was like three of them. Like it was Malcolm.
It was Malcolm, Ozzy, and Hulk. But I mean, Hulk is a divisive figure. Yeah, some people love him. For me, it's more sort of like I remember the Hulk that I knew as a kid, and that I still have the love for that, even though he might not have been the greatest guy.
Right, I know.
It's complicated.
Not going to that, but I know.
Like it's complicated. It's complicated. I have complicated feelings about Hulkamania.
I remember I was in elementary school. It was like this young girl. I remember we was walking home from school. I don't know, but she was just like, she said, "Yeah, I met Hulk Hogan." And I was like, you know how little boys are. No, you didn't. You didn't meet no Hulk Hogan. Like, stop lying. And she was like, "No, his name is Terry. His name is Terry." We was like, "No, it ain't. You lied. Stop lying." And as I got old, I was like, "Yo, his name was Terry." So she actually did meet him. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. But like, it was so funny. But definitely. I know this about what's going on with Hulk Hogan. Like, it's crazy, but yeah, well,
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's hot. It's hot. We got people down on us. People trying to chip us on our artwork.
I know. But you know what? Here's the thing. It sucks that it's on us, but that's kind of how it always has been. Is like, we don't live in a world where people are really like, oh, hey, let me take you under your wing, protect you, and show you everything that you need to know. We live in a very dog-eat-dog world and society where everyone's either trying to get someone or trying not to get got. And in the end, like, the funny thing is, even I had this thought and it slipped away. But when we were talking about showing people how everything is made and why art is expensive and all the hard work that goes in there, that I wish that something like that existed too. But the counter argument that popped in my head is that that's a me problem. And what I mean by that is, we don't want we don't want to know how to rebuild an alternator.
Right.
We don't want to know why it costs this much to change our brake rotors. We just want the car to work. And it's like, so when I think about art, yes, because there's so much of a personal way that art affects people. And the fact that the act of making it can be very personal, very deep, and it's complicated and it's hard, it's difficult. It's like selling a piece of your soul in some ways that people may not understand that, but
it's different though. I think it's some people that the people that actually are like comic book lovers, like they're the ones I think tend to like respect it a little bit more, like a lot more than regular casual people that just like, I mean, a guy that reads Superman will also kind of, they tend to love like the artists that draw that Superman, whatever, you know, like, so if they have a connection as opposed to like somebody that's just going to see a Marvel movie and they like, yo, I seen Hulk and Spider-Man in a book or two, whatever, like, you know, I just want to see him in a movie, whatever, and then when you start having like these conversations with them, they really don't know much about the characters or anything like that. It's because they just go to watch the movies, whatever. Like,
well, see, that's the thing, though. What you just said, that's most people. That is most people. You would hope that the people who actually are going to pay for artwork are going to be more informed and will come with a little bit more knowledge and appreciation, but that still isn't always the case. And believe it or not, the more popular superheroes and superhero movies and comic book based properties become, the more you're going to get people who appreciate the thing without appreciating what goes into it. You're going to get more. You'd think that as it gets more popular, more people are going to appreciate. And yes, there will be a larger number of people who understand all of the work that goes into it, but you're going to get that many more people who just come and say, oh, that's cool. Can you make my version of it and do it for free or for $50? You know, and to be honest, that when it gets, not to bring AI back into this, because I mean, everyone's I'm tired of talking about AI, even though I'm the one bringing it up. But when I look at when I look at a world in which people want fast food service, they want the instant gratification and they want it cheap, they want it now, and they just want it the way they want. They want BK, they want it their way. When you look at that and you look at the world that we have built for that, it explains the existence of AI art. It doesn't make me like it. It doesn't make me want to do it, but I don't sit here baffled at why it exists. You know, I look at that and I'm like, okay, I can see we've created a world in which no one wants to eat healthy. People just want to be able to eat crap and then take a pill or a shot that will make their diabetes go away and make them lose weight. They don't want to actually do anything hard or understand how things work. That is the world we've created. So I understand it, and I like all of us, I struggle to navigate how to move forward in the future. And I basically just rely on the fact that I try to do the things that I enjoy for me, and then just look at, all right, well, what do my clients need and how can I serve them best? You know, and there may be times in the future where I will have to do more AI in my work in order to stay competitive. I'm not saying, oh, well, I'm just going to quit and walk away, because even if I quit and walk away, I still got to make a living. And if I got to make a living, I might as well do it doing something that I have. I mean, I'm not going to try and just go to law school and become a lawyer, because that's going to be just as much work for doing something that, if I want to do something I'm not interested in anyway, I might as well do something I'm not interested in that I at least have expertise in, right? You know, being design and artwork. But it's complicated. And I say all of this saying that I don't have answers. You know, I don't think that there are any answers. And I don't think there's going to be any answers for, like, I think the world is going to continue to change incredibly rapidly for the next, 5 to 10 years. But also the world always continues to change. That's something that, that we forget sometimes. We want things to just chill out and have some level of stability. But in art, in politics, in creativity, in business, in medicine, the world change is a constant. We live in a world where there's constant flux, and part of it is I've been meditating a lot, and I'm trying to just become comfortable with the idea of constant change. And it's hard to become comfortable with, because I want comfort, like I think a lot of us do. But it's
that's what I'm struggling with right now. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
It's hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're a little bit past an hour, and I said this at the top of the stream. I'm actually going to do the Patreon live stream after this. The art book study group thing. I'm going to do that after this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this stream. I'm going to take about a half-hour break, and I'm going to post the link for the Patreon. By the way, for anyone in the chat, the at the top of the chat is a link to the Patreon. So I'm gonna end this, and then on Patreon, I'm gonna post a link for the Patreon exclusive live stream. We're gonna take a break for about a half hour, and then we're gonna jump into that live stream. So I'm just giving everyone a heads up that's coming next, because it seemed to work well when I did it the last time. So, all right. On that note, let me bring it back to the main screen here. I didn't really answer any questions about figure drawing. So if people have questions that I didn't address at all, leave them in the comments on the video. And then on the next live stream, I'll come back. Because it is nice to just hang out with you guys, draw and talk. But I realize a lot of times lately I'm just drawing and talking, and I'm not actually talking about what I'm drawing. So if anybody has anything that is that's specific to figure drawing, the stuff that we're working on, I am always open to answering questions like that. And hell, I'm definitely open to answering questions like that on the Patreon live stream, because that's, we can post stuff in the Discord, and I can do drawovers, and we can jump in and talk about that stuff. But in the meanwhile, if you enjoy these live streams, would like to get additional bonus live streams twice a month, head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. If you'd like to sign up for my free newsletter, you get a free digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs delivered right to your inbox, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively. You can head on over to substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comics, the amazon.jeremy.net link is broken. It's broken. I got to get in there with my new. I switched web hosts a little while ago, and it's been broken since I didn't realize it was broken. So I got to get in there and get that fixed, find out why it's not forwarding. But in the meantime, there's a link at the top of the chat for this. It'll forward you to my Amazon author page. You can pick up books like my first graphic novel, Eye of the Gods. It is a standalone psychological thriller about a man he is cursed with visions he cannot control. You can also pick up my most recent project, Morning Star. It's a retelling of Lucifer's fall from heaven as a Western. It's an 8-issue series. Volume 1 contains issues 1 through 4. Volume 2 contains a conclusion, issues 5 through 8. Both of them have extensive back matter, character designs, thumbnails, page layouts, photo reference, and more. Basically, show you how I put the entire book together. It's like that behind the scenes channel that we were talking about, Herman, except I put it in a book.
Right.
Okay, guys. So for anyone who's on Patreon, I'll see you guys in a half hour. For the rest of you, thank you for hanging out. I always appreciate the comments, the conversation. Yes, Herman, thank you. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new and you're just rolling through. Thank you for reminding me. All right, guys, that's it for now. Go be creative.